Ever since I was a child, I had many questions of which the answers sounded more or less the same. To fight the world boxing champion is suicide. To throw a crowbar at a car is a bad idea. To make a rope out of sheets and climb down them through the window is crazy. All those statements seem to be unquestionably true only because the search for real answers requires one to think outside the box, to overcome the limits of endurance and at times those of common sense. This is exactly what our program is going to be about. I'm Alexander Koltovoy. We will go searching for the answers together. Let's go! Today's episode will tell you about freeriding, the most dangerous type of snowboarding. Having no previous experience and supported by a professional instructor, I will try to snowboard down the ungroomed terrain away from a set course and rescue teams. You don't look very confident there. Are you sure you're ready for this adventure? Well, this is my second season, but that's the whole point. There are plenty of videos of cool riders going down the mountains. They are great, but there aren't many videos of a dummy freeriding for the first time. As far as freeriding goes, you haven't arrived yet, but you already feel it. But you see, it's true. It's clear that an expert, a professional, will do it easily. But I was there to see what it feels like for a regular person. And one has to sacrifice something. You don't have an injury, do you? Well, not anymore. It does not take too much skill to snowboard down a track. Any beginner snowboarder like me can do that. But one needs to be well prepared to attempt the ungroomed terrain. And I am not, but I will still try to push the limits of common sense and go down the natural slope. In a word, we are going freeriding. Freeriding is one of the most dangerous types of snowboarding since it is done on ungroomed terrain away from the tracks and rescue teams. I am a brave man and have experienced a lot in my life, but even I wouldn't dare to go down the mountain on my own. That's why I'll be accompanied by a professional instructor who we are going to meet right here. Pasha? Hello? Hello? Pavel Grudinin, 41 years old, professional guide and mountaineering instructor. He was born and grew up in Prieljabrusia. He's been mountain skiing and snowboarding for about 20 years. Well, tell me, what is the first step for a person who decides to move from a track to a natural terrain? The first step, well, tell me how good are you at snowboarding? For how many years have you done it? Well, it's my second season. That's not much, of course. First, we've got to see what you can do, so let's take a lift and go down the set course. Okay, that's easy. Oh, it depends. Normally, I don't fall. one on a track. But I don't always stay upright, right? So here we go. This is a standard track. Let's see how you go down it. What is the altitude here? 3,500 meters above sea level. And we go down to 3,000 meters above the sea. Then we'll go back to the same altitude. Okay, let's go. We are not going down all the way to 2,300 meters. We will stop at the halfway station. Let's go. All right, let's stop. That's enough. I've seen all I need to see. Your technique is good. You need to bend your knees more to use them more gently. You also said I shouldn't watch my feet. Yes, don't watch your feet. It's like driving. You don't look at the pedals or the bonnet. The speed is practically the same. Well, just look at it. Naturally, you have to see where you are going, because if you look down, you'll fall. I see. So, shall we go higher up and go down? First, I'll tell you about the basics of the avalanche management techniques, so that you'll at least have an idea of how to deal with the equipment I'm placing on you. So there's a threat of an avalanche. Of course, any place where there is snow is subject to avalanches. Montgomery Atwater describes an avalanche which happened on a 15-degree slope. I see. Here, where we are right now, when there's a lot of snow, an avalanche comes down nearly to the foot of the mountain covering this place. The main danger of freeriding is an avalanche. Usually at ski resorts, there are dedicated services that monitor the slopes and clean the snow in avalanche-prone areas. Nobody does the same things away from the track. Our only hope is the professional instructor who monitors the level of snow on the mountain and can assess the chance of an avalanche on the route. And most importantly, is capable of rescuing people who find themselves in an avalanche. So, I seem to have proven to Pasha that I am more or less ready to go free riding. Yes, but Pasha brought a heap of equipment assuring me that it helps in case of an avalanche. Pasha, can you, well, explain what it is? It does not protect you from an avalanche, but it raises the chances of surviving one. Take off your jacket to start. So what is this, Pasha? It's an avalanche detector. A beeper. When you put it on, I will switch it on. So this device will help the radar find me. No, it will help someone with the same detector to find you. Now the detector is switched on. Put it on. That's it. I've got a similar one. If you find yourself in an avalanche, I can turn this detector into search mode and it starts beeping. For example, when you are 0.2 meters away, it shows the distance and direction here. And those arrows indicate the direction, right? Yes, this is a digital analog detector. What you are wearing is an analog detector. It shows the direction with a red light and sound. Here. Search mode is turned on this way. Now, it can detect me too. It only covers 60 meters. This equipment is normally worn by the entire group. When a group approaches an avalanche-prone slope, everybody stops and then one person at a time moves along the slope. In case of an avalanche, the first rule is to stand still and watch where the person was last seen. Then everyone switches their detectors to search mode and starts the rescuing process. Okay, I spotted a spade. That's easy. It's clear. It's used to dig. It is normally kept in the backpack disassembled. All those tools have to be easy to put together. And everyone must be able to dig fast, right? Right. Also, if one is stuck in quite deep snow, we don't really use feelers. The detectors suffice, right? Yes, it does. But in theory, it's possible to find someone without the feelers. But there's this thing, which, I think, if one's inside the avalanche, you can use it this way. Hold on. What if this thing gets planted into one's cheek, for instance? That's okay. It's made of aluminum. Before, the feelers were made of metal and steel and ended with a sort of drill. It can go as deep as you need it to. Here's another device which allows you to stay under the snow for a longer period. Once you find yourself at an avalanche-prone slope, you've got to take this mouthpiece into your mouth, and so it means that I've got to place it in my mouth straight away on a slope that is theoretically prone to avalanches, because once the avalanche starts, it's too late. You won't have time to do anything, and normally people die under those circumstances. Should I put it this way over my head? Hold on. I will show you how to do it now. Here, over your head like this. It's got to be under your jacket, huh? That's it. So the only visible thing is the mouthpiece, right? It works in the following way. Once you're under the avalanche, your breathing creates an ice cavity, right? Therefore, this blocks the air, which is limited in the avalanche. This thing moves the air you exhale behind you. It stays there slightly cooled. That's why in this case it does not create an ice cavity. I see. I told you, when I was lying under an avalanche, I really wish I had that thing on me. So it would give me more time before they could find me and dig me out. It would have been easier. And this is the main device. It consists of a charged cylinder. When you are in an avalanche, you have to pull the handle, which is affixed here. We're not going to pull it now. So what happens when we pull it? Two airbags open up. So, in the case of an emergency, we pull the handles, and these two big airbags open up, and those are similar to the safety airbags in a car, right? Not really. In theory, the body is big and light, and that's why it's pushed up to the surface. So this is not used to protect your head. No. It helps a little protect the neck, but the most important thing is that it has volume, and voluminous bodies are pushed up to the surface. The way, actually, it happens in a whirlpool. So, you find yourself in an avalanche, and it stops, thank God. And you've survived. You were not killed by the stones or trees, so you are lying there and you still have some air to breathe. But to get out of the snow, well, I don't think it's possible to do it on your own, because snow gets as solid as concrete. I was buried under snow as thick as this, and it was enough for me to be unable, and you couldn't get out? For me to be unable to get out? I think you're understanding it, and there are slightly more snow than that. No. That is the whole point, that I couldn't get out by myself. I even had my hand sticking out on the surface, so people could see it while I was trying to do something myself. Let's do a small experiment in the spirit of our program, and try, well, of course, we will not be creating an avalanche. It'd be enough just to bury you in snow. We don't even have to ram it down. Well, let's try it, but don't bury me too deep. It's quite cold here. Let's move a little further down. Yes, it is cold, and it can really happen here on this slope. Is that so? Yes, absolutely. An avalanche can travel all the way down to the main road from here. Oh no, let's go down further. All right, and do our experiment there. All right. So we prepared a dungeon. Pasha was the one digging it, to be honest. I didn't participate in that. Now I will get inside it and Pasha will bury me. Let's see if I will dig myself out. So my friends, let's start our experiment. Let's start. We'll see what happens. But in reality, it happens in a much harsher way. I got first-hand experience. Pasha, how many times have you been in an avalanche? If you're talking about something really serious, then about 5 times. As far as the small ones go, I can't remember. If we leave him there now, especially that it's getting late and the temperature is changing, the snow will get solid all by itself. So if we leave him there, it'll be very difficult to dig him out, let alone him having a chance to dig himself out. Pasha, yes? Have you buried me yet? Yes, done. So, how much time do rescuers need to dig out a person who's been buried by an avalanche? Slightly more than 10 minutes. The more time, the less chance for the person to survive. It depends on the avalanche. If it's not homogeneous, then there's a chance for the air to enter and thus more time to save the person. Is that the way it is now? Yes, it's okay in your case. You'll feel slightly cold and some pressure and that's it. But if the avalanche is made of a soft snow slab, then there's every chance that you could suffocate within that time. That is, if it is taking a bit more than 10 minutes, I suffocate it in 10 minutes. Pasha, do you not reflect in a mirror? I do. I guess I was just lucky because I was dug out, but they didn't even try to bring me back to consciousness. Why didn't they? Did they decide that was it? They thought that was it. They called the rescuers. And in the meantime, I recovered by myself and saw people around me looking strange, so I told them, "What are you sitting around here for? We've got to move on." We were also in a gorge far from the main road. So I'm buried under the snow. My situation is much better than those who happen to be under a real avalanche. I have air to breathe, and I don't feel the pressure of 1 meter of snow over my chest. However, with every minute, I feel the snow becoming increasingly heavier, and I realize that my chances of getting out by myself are melting rapidly. However, in terms of the experiment, I have to stay here without moving for 5 minutes. Pasha, yes? How long have I been here? It's been about 10 minutes so far. I think you can now try to get out by yourself. Let's see if you succeed. Okay. Oh, that's right, 10 times. And there's a layer over it. I suffocated under a similar layer, but I had my face down then, and it wasn't really an avalanche, but some lumps of snow. It's called a snow slide when the snow, which accumulates under the cornice, starts moving. How does it feel? Well, it doesn't seem to be moving. And you've only got about 20 centimeters of snow over you. Also, you're positioned comfortably there. We'll try, let's see if it works. Well, I've been trying to lift it, but it seems to have pushed me down even deeper. That's right. It pushed me down. Yes. I can't lift myself up anymore. Can you breathe? You are buried well there. What? Can you breathe? Yes, I can. I left a hole for you to breathe through naturally, but my head is now not located directly up, but somehow downwards. That's right, now you're being bent. And I can't raise it. That's right. More snow fell on top of it, the size of your head. All right, go ahead, dig me out. I don't think I can. So, do you admit that it's practically impossible to dig yourself out, even in a case of a tiny avalanche? Well, did I understand you right? I am being buried by snow. Please get me out of here. All right. I think the experiment was perfect. We could have rammed down the snow too, of course, but it turned out to be unnecessary. In the beginning, I felt it moving. I felt it lifting, this heavy part right here. I put my hands down to feel it moving, and then at some point, you understood that you couldn't move. At some point, it just went down, and that's it. One thing, you felt that you could only move your head, which I didn't bury, right? You moved your head, but other parts of the body stayed still. All right, so we need a beeper, spade, and feelers. That's right, at least a beeper and a spade. We will have detectors, spades with us, and of course, we will notify the rescuers too. Of course, so that they know where we are at all times. I hope you're going tomorrow. Well, yes, it's getting late today. Of course, we sometimes go down the slopes at night too, but, well, I wouldn't mind having a warm drink now. What do we do now? The airlift doesn't work anymore. Well, it rarely works, so we'll go by snowmobile or snowcat. Which one is more practical? A snowcat is more practical because it can travel over loose snow. The snowmobile can't. And we're going to go by snowcat now, right? Yes, yes. Let's go. Never throw your board with the sliding side down. Why? Because it'll slide down. What if I throw it on the bindings? You shouldn't throw it at all because if you throw it on the binding side, it'll turn around. I see. So we're going to start here? Let's say over there. From this point? Yes, from this point. What were you expecting? Well, I thought there would be some direction marks. Ah, direction marks. Well, it's usually like that. Those direction marks are not free ride. You find direction marks on a track. Is the snow depth homogeneous? No, not at all. That's why the danger of an avalanche varies as well as other factors. Okay, so I'll start and you'll follow me. I'll be right next to you. Stay close. Let's go. Snowboarding only looks easy, but you have to keep your knees slightly bent all the time to keep your balance. It's twice as hard to stay this way for someone as inexperienced as I am. The leg muscles start burning as they're not used to the static exercise. And taking into consideration that at 3,500 feet, the amount of oxygen is half the norm, you naturally start struggling to breathe. I'm going to go first. Watch out if I raise my arm. You are looking at your feet. Look up, watch my arm. If I raise it higher, it means you should be on alert. There are stones there. Right, that's why we do it this way, and stop. And he thinks that I'll be able to repeat what he just did? One more valuable piece of advice. If you want to go free riding, get yourself a one-piece suit. At least you have no snow getting into your pants. It feels like it's beyond my capability, or at least on the edge of it. I'm alive! Pasha, thank you. It's so cool. No track can compare to this. I wish it didn't fall so often. So, what's your conclusion? What did I do wrong? Well, it'd be better if you exercised more control. Otherwise, you did quite well. You can continue practicing, but only with an instructor. I think it's gone well. All in all, I'm glad we met Pasha, the professional instructor. I don't even want to think of what could have happened if I had gone alone. But Something's puzzling about all of this, Pasha. Huh? The free-riding routes don't always finish next to the aerial lift, yes? Sometimes you have to walk a bit or call for a car to pick you up. In spring, I go to one place where I park my Niva in the gorge. So when we get to the bottom, there's a car waiting for us. Is it possible to call for the snowmobile to come pick us up? Sure, but it's not always possible for the snowmobile to travel in loose snow. So we have to walk back? Yeah. Okay. Well, it'd be perfect if it weren't for the walking. We're going that way? Yeah, we're going down.